Hello and welcome to day 6 of ranking every Pokemon generation. Well, we're on day 6, of course we're doing Gen 6 today. An overlooked kind of generation in my point of view. It's also an interesting generation because this is Kalos, and Pokemon Z-A is going to be Kalos as well, so there's a nice little crossover there. One thing I'll say about Kalos before we begin is I've always believed that this was a genuinely strong roster of Pokemon, even though there aren't actually that many. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this ranking goes, to be honest. From the start, I think the starters are really good. I think it's another generation of top tier starters. I think all 3 of them are brilliant. And I would even say in that order as well. Chespin is just super cute. Fennekin's basically a fox with hairy ears, made to look like fire. And then Froggy's a cute little toad, which is it a toad or is it a frog? I don't know. It's probably a frog. That's why it's called Froggy. But yeah, he's cool. Quilladin, I do not like as much. He's a chubby little version of Chespin. I think he's a B rank. With regards to Braxton, Braxton's neat. I'm not going to place it in S, I'm not going to place it in B. I think it is fair enough. It's sort of a midway point between Fennekin and Final Evolution. So I think there is fine. And I think that... what's he called? Is he Grenadier or something? Frogadier? Yeah, Grenadier is an actual thing. Frogadier? Yeah, Frogadier's neat. Again, it's that kind of midway spot. I like it a little bit less, though, than Braxton. Okay, looking at the final evolutions, we've got Delphox, who is fine. I did like it less than the second stage. In fact, I'm not going to place her in B. I think it is fair. It's a decent design. I just don't gel with it. I think that Chestnut is way better, to be quite honest. Chestnut is pretty good. Is Chestnut going to be an S rank? I'll tell you what, I'm going to put Chestnut up in S. Low S, but up in S. It is a really cool design. And Greninja, I hate to be that guy who does... what people are, everyone loves Greninja and I'm just another person. But considering that, stuff like Charizard ends up being quite lowly rated by me, then I think I'm allowed 1. Well, I mean, with Mewtwo as well, I suppose. Okie dokie. Right, Bunnelby. Bunnelby is... I feel like this... Diggersby is basically just a male version of a Lopunny, and it has a shit design, but Bunnelby is pretty neat. I wouldn't say it's A ranking, but I think he'll be above that fella. So I think there's about fair. Right, now I've got the Talonflame bunch. Now Talonflame is a definite S. They've nerfed him slightly, he used to be fucking brutal. What was that ability? I don't remember. I think it's Gale Wings or something. But he's got an ability that just makes him super powerful. I think it basically gets no recoil damage or something, or it boosts. No, I think it boosts flying moves. I think that's what it is. And it boosts it by a lot, so he goes pretty high. Fletchinder and Fletchling are basically just birds. There's nothing amazingly special, but I think they're good birds. I'll probably place them in B. I think Fletchling's a little bit cuter, so we'll stick Fletchling above. Yeah, seems alright. Okay. Now I do like bug Pokemon, but Scatterbug doesn't really do it for me. I think it's just a solid C. I do like Spewper a bit more because it's that sort of cocoon type thing, but a bit more interesting. I'm not going to place it super high. I think that'll do. Pavilion, on the other hand, Pavilion is cool. I think he's an S-rank Pokemon, but I'd say top of there. Litleo. Litleo is a really cool little lion, and he's super cute. I think he's one of the best of this generation, to be honest. I think I'm going to place him up here. I'm not going to place him higher than the stars. I think maybe here. Oh, I've got the two forms together. I did remove the forms. As you can see, this generation has loads of different forms. Oh, there's some other forms I'm missing. Right, here we go. Stick that form there. I'll stick this form there as well. It's another form I've missed. Maybe I've missed other forms. Look at all these forms, especially like the pavilions. There's a million different pavilions. There's a million pavilions. Okay. Pyro. Pyro's cool. Not S tier, but I think a good A. Pretty good A. Flabébé. I'm not keen on Flabébé. It's fine. I think it probably is okay in B. And Floette is maybe a little bit lower. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the Floette and Flabébé Pokemon, but they're fine. They're decent enough. I'm just not a fan. Florges, I kind of like the design, but I never use it for Pokemon, and I don't think I would ever use it. So much so that I think top of C would be a good place for her. Skidog, Goat. The Goat's alright. I think the Goat low A. Skidoo's a bit cuter, so we'll stick it just ahead, I suppose. Yeah. Right, Pancham. Pancham's cute. I don't like the snot coming from its nose, so I'm going to place it a little bit lower down. And Pangoro. Like, I would use the Pangoro for its design. I'm not too fussed. Let's stick that right up there. I'd say it's a decent Pokemon though, and the design isn't bad. The design is not bad. The problem with it really is, I don't know the problem with it. I just don't like it. Furfrou, he's cool. I think he deserves to be an S. He's kind of neat, and his like special ability, the fur coat that makes him super defensive. That's a really cool ability. He's not offensively that amazing, but he's neat. I would place him at the bottom of S. I think he's iconic for this generation, but at the same time, I don't think he deserves to be much higher. Esper's pretty cute. I think Esper's gonna go in, and I would use an Esper as well because I quite like Meowstic. Here, maybe. Meowstic. There's two of them. They've got different abilities. I don't remember which one's which. I remember they're pretty decent. I like them more than Meowstic. I'll probably place top of A, and I cannot remember the difference, so I would probably not distinguish between them. It's just like, okay, I've got that one, that's the one I'm using. Like, there's one I think that's Prankster, and I think the other one's just like, I think the other one's got a shit ability. I think one's got Prankster, but he's all kind of like Prankster style moves, and then the other one is a kind of a mid ability, but it's got better moves, I believe. I think. It's kind of hard to, I don't really remember. I'd say they've both got the same name, and they're just like male and female versions. Which is kind of interesting that like the Nidos are still kind of like there's a separate Pokemon from. Okay. Right, we've got the Aegislash peeps. I think all of these are S tier. I think Honedge is legit. And I think Aegislash is probably my favourite Pokemon from the generation. And Doublade is also really cool. Actually, I was thinking, oh, do Blazikenot's good, like just looking at the sprite, but really in action, because it's got the two swords and they do move, I think they are cooler. I think I'm going to stick it just above on edge. I think I'm going to place it that highly. That's how much I like it. What I don't like as much is Spritzy and the Aromatics. They're fine, I like the whole kind of costume map. I think they're good sprites, but I've tried to use them and I don't like them. So I'm going to place Spritzy. I'm going to place Spritzy here. And I'm going to place Aromatics a little bit lower. I like Spritzy's design a little bit more. Yeah. Swirlix on the other hand is going to be the opposite. I think Swirlix is fine as a Pokemon, but I don't quite like the design. But Slurpup's pretty good. Not amazing, I would probably use it more than... I'd probably use it more than Delphox, I reckon. I think that seems about right. Inkay and Malamar. There's been a big push in popularity and stuff with the with Malamar after it got like a Mega Evolution confirmed. But I've always kind of liked Malamar. It's pretty cool. I do really like Contrary as well as an ability, so that makes it more interesting. Would I put in S tier though? No, I think I just put it right at the top of A tier. And Inkay, let's put you with Esper. I like Esper more. It's cuter. But yeah, I think that's about right. Binnacle. Binnacle's a weird Pokemon. It's just a rock with like two hands sticking out of it. It's fine. Let's stick it in B. And Barbarical, I do quite like. So I'll stick Barbarical in here. And I'll stick him... Think about here, maybe? No, I do like Frogadile's design a bit more. Yeah, seems about right. Now we have the Poison Dragon. Dragalge and... Squelp? Whatever the little one's called. Right, Dragalge I think is pretty cool. I think it's an A rank Pokemon, I don't think it's an S rank Pokemon. I would probably place it out here, just because I like bug Pokemon a little bit more. Squelp, I don't like the design as much. I think that would go down in B. It's not bad, but it's not fantastic. Clauncher is... It's a Blue Lobster. I think... I don't know, I really don't like Clowitzer, to be honest. Let's place it at the bottom of B. Yeah, I think about right. And Clowitzer... a little bit higher. I think it's one of those Pokemon that I think are fine, I just wouldn't use them. I'll probably use it... I'll probably use it less than the Aromatics. Yeah, I'd use it more than Floette. Helioptile, he's pretty cute. Let's stick him up in A. And I'll stick him... I think I'm going to stick him pretty highly, he's cool. And the evolution, Heliolisk. He's really cool. I wouldn't say he's S tier. I do really like him. I do use him a lot. I'll say him highly in A. I'm not going to stick him in S. But he's not far off. He's not far off. He's still pretty good. Right, now we have... Oh, going wrong direction. We have the fossil Pokemon. Right. Well, for a start, Tyrantrum is a good boy. He's almost my favourite Pokemon. He's a dinosaur. There's a rock dinosaur, a dragon dinosaur, and got a really cool ability with some like really badass moves. Like you stick on Rockhead, and you can just go to town on people. He's cool. I also think Tyrant is an S tier Pokemon, and he's gonna be like here. Yeah. Amaura and Auroras, I don't think are as good. I like Amaura, better, controversially. Aurora's is pretty decent though. I'd stick her about there. She's fine. I don't love her, but I would probably use them on a Barracle or Slurple and whatnot, so yeah, sure. Sylveon is a great introduction to the Fairy type. It's probably one of the best evolutions. I do prefer Espeon, but I'd say it's up there. In fact, I'm going to stick it here, just because Talonflame got nerfed and Sylveon is still really cool. Hawlucha is an interesting Pokemon. I think he's got a fantastic design and he's iconic for the generation. I just probably would opt to choose him all that much. So I'd stick him there. That's fine. The Dene, the Pikachu clone. This is one of those Pokemon where being a Pikachu clone is really, really, really obvious. Like, they don't even try to hide it. And yeah, he's not great at design. He's a very obvious Pikachu clone. But I also like him quite a lot. I do use it. And for that reason, I'm going to place him controversially pretty highly. I'm going to stick him there, in front of Dragalge. That's a really kind of controversial position, but I think he deserves it. Okay, Carbink is C. I would probably use it, but it's got boring design and he's a pretty boring one-stage Pokemon. Right, Gume and Goodra, your S rank, and Sliggoo is A. Sliggoo's pretty good, just not as good. I would say it's around here, just in front of Amora. Goodra, where would we stick Goodra? I'm sticking about here. Gume is cute as hell. I think he deserves to go there. Is that right? We'll go next. Klefki! Klefki! Another iconic Pokemon from this generation. Klefki is going in S. A lot of people hate him because it's basically a set of keys, but he's super cool. I love the design. I love that he's prankster with all these kind of ancillary abilities that work well with it. Even though he's more of an assist Pokemon that, you know, in a casual playthrough maybe you wouldn't use, I still use him in a casual playthrough. I think he's like top tier. More so than Greninja. More so than Greninja. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say more so than Greninja. Phantup and Trevenant. I think they're both fantastic. I think both of those also deserve to be in S. Phantup is really cute and unique. Let's stick him about here. And Trevenant is just a beast. Where am I going to stick him? Where indeed? I'd say about there will do. Yeah, pretty highly. At the moment he's in my top 5. Maybe he'll stay there, maybe he won't. Right. Pumpkaboo Gorgai. I like pumpkins. I'm not so fond of these two. Why am I going to stick them? I like the designs. I think they deserve to be in it. I think it's a case of like Spritzy and stuff and Aromatisse where even though I'm not fond of using them, I still think the design is cool. I'm going to stick you here. I'm going to stick you a bit higher up. I probably would use you, but I wouldn't go out of my way. These next two on the other hand, I probably wouldn't. Like Avalugg and Birdmite. I liked Avalugg when... Is it Sword and Shield? I think there was a Gigantamax Avalugg. There was certainly another Avalugg form that was massive. And that was cool to fight. I think it was one of the gym leaders that had it as well. And that was cool to fight, and that definitely upped my opinion. So I would stick it at the top of B, like that. Bergmite is a little bit more boring. Let's say stop at C. Yeah, that's about right. Sure, why not? Noibat and Noivern, big fan of bats, and they're cool. I would say both of those are going to be in S rank. Right, where though is another thing. Super cute. Less than a dinosaur, less than a sword. Right here. Noivern, I would use it, and I would probably use it less than Talonflame. So about here. Yeah, why not? Why not? Right, now we're on to the game's legendaries. Oof. Once again, legendaries. The box legendaries, Xerneas and Yveltal. I think Xerneas is really cool. I think the design is awesome for Xerneas. I think it deserves to be in S rank because it's a really awesome design. I wouldn't place it that highly. Maybe about here. But I think it deserves recognition for its awesome design. Yveltal, I don't think is as good. I think the Y shape seems forced. I know that it's just like the image of him like that and it's normally just flying, but they do try and force him into that Y position quite a lot. He's a good Pokemon though, I would say B. And Zygarde, I don't really like Zygarde that much. I'm going to stick Zygarde in B as well. I wouldn't really use it. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I'm not too fond of the design. I think it's supposed to be like a snake or something. Yeah, and I would never use it. Maybe in the upcoming game I will, but not a big fan. Diancie is kind of cool for the mega form than the original, but it's alright. I'm gonna stick you below Gogo, I think. Hooper is awesome. In fact, Hooper and Volcanion, I would say S rank. Hooper's a really neat little design. It's got its neat little genie look and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. I would probably use it if it was easily accessible, like during the main course of the game and not just like something you get. I can't remember how you fucking got it, to be honest. Like in Z-A it's gonna be like in the DLC, probably at the end. So will I use it? Probably not. Will I play around with it? Probably. And I think the design is so cool, I'm gonna stick it quite high up. I'm not gonna stick it in my top 5. I think number 6 though is a good position. And Volcanion, the design isn't as strong, but I do like that it's a fire water Pokemon. It works well with that kind of whole steam thing. And for that I think it's pretty iconic and unique as well. I'm not going to say it's super high up in S. I like it more. No, I'd say I like it less than Xerneas. I'd say that there. Yeah, I like Xerneas a little bit more. I would probably use a Xerneas. No, would I use a Xerneas more than Volcanion? Probably not, because it's got its... I don't know, I like the design. I would prefer to use Volcanion, but I like the design more of Xerneas. However, considering they're both like legendary Pokemon, or I think Volcanion is mythical, right? I would likely use neither of them on a day-to-day basis or in a battle. And so I kind of have to prioritise looks. I think Xerneas is getting left there. I think that's a good place to put him. Okay, cool. As I expected, a lot of S's, a lot of A's, some B's, a handful of C's, and then we've got Diggersby. Fucking D. So yeah, what do you think? Any fans of Diggersby out there? Any people who think Diggersby should be right up in S? I think you're probably wrong. But I'm interested to see if there's any Diggersby fans. One of the things that I find interesting is that there's like 1,000+ Pokemon, and you'll always find someone that says, this Pokemon is my favourite. even if it's like a fucking Metapod, there's going to be some guy out there who's going, yeah, I really stand Metapod. And it's weird, but there's a Pokemon out there for everyone. I think that there's at least one person out there in the world who likes at least one, unliked Pokemon. So someone's gonna like Diggersby. Just ain't me, that's all. Okay, so then we're going on to Gen 7, which is Alola, which has some nice tropical Pokemon. And from memory, I think there's going to be some good and some bad. Like, I think there's some really good ones, and there's some really bad ones as well. So that'll be interesting. I will see you tomorrow, and we will look at that list. Thanks all for joining, and I hope you stay tuned for all 9 of these. See you then. I keep sliding down in the video. I'm sat on the sofa and I keep slipping. But anyway, I will see you then, and hopefully for the rest of the series. Bye folks.